I sat down for a while trying to think of how best to begin this video, but I think the only way to do it is just to be blunt. I'm leaving. By Sunday, this channel will be deleted, my Twitter will be deleted, and you'll never see another video, post, or stream from me ever again. I'll appear on the next episode of EFAP, and that's it. What content released on the EFAP channel that I'm included in, being the Doom commentary and the Lord of the Rings commentaries, were recorded months ago. We're just still sorting copyright with them. But the next episode is unequivocally the final piece of content I'll ever be a part of. It's something I've been contemplating for a long time now, not something that was an easy decision, though as of the past couple years it's become significantly more alluring. I've been making videos on here for 8 years. I started when I was 14 in October of 2011 with a Call of Duty Black Ops commentary, one that was filmed on a broken flip video camera pointed at my screen while I fumbled around aimlessly trying to say something even remotely interesting. That channel was called Wolf Game Walkthroughs, where it intended to make campaign walkthroughs on their highest difficulty with commentary in the same vein as channels like Next Gen Tactics, Next Gen Walkthroughs, and the Rad Brat. For 3 years, I got basically nowhere on that channel. I ended up making a new one called the Dishonored Wolf, which I deleted in like a month or two because it was just Wolf Game Walkthroughs with a different name and less subs. I went back to the first channel, changed the name, and ended up getting a small following of about 4,500 subs by late 2015. This, if you remember, was around the time that the Machinima controversy started, where they wouldn't cancel contracts even after they'd expired and were shafting all their partnered creators and stealing their money. Granted, I wasn't really making much money at the time anyway, so I wasn't being too negatively affected, but I wanted to make money, and Machinima picked me up at like 40 subs. They didn't really have standards. So I made a new channel, 1,000 people followed me over, deleted the original channel, and from 2016 until August of this year, I'd amassed around 120,000 subs. Then I had a mental breakdown, nuked that channel, and was encouraged to make a new one, and here I am. YouTube for the past 8 years has been one of the biggest parts of my life. I used it as a means to vent what I was feeling when I didn't have anyone else to vent to. I used it as a means of talking about subjects I found personally interesting or personally infuriating. It was the one place where I could be enthusiastic or abrasive or loud and crazy, where in real life, I'm none of those things. It's easy to slip on a mask on the internet and pretend to be someone you're not. In reality, I've always been quiet, timid, and never really had many friends. I have such overwhelming anxiety that to this day I'll go down to a coffee shop to write or read, and if there's too many people there that I don't know, I'll feel uncomfortable, turn around, and drive back home. I've always loved reading books or playing story-based video games or watching movies because it's an escape from the life I've been living that I hate so much, and it's something I can do alone and not have to worry about how much my anxiety would affect it. When I started garnering an actual audience, I felt somewhat vindicated in what I was doing. For the first time in my life, people wanted to interact with me, wanted to know what I thought about something, wanted to see my live streams, and wanted me to rant about things they similarly didn't like. I let that take hold of me, and I let it change the way I behave and the way I communicate, and those changes weren't for the better. After years of drama and arguments and stress just mounting higher and higher until I couldn't take it anymore and finally snapped, I've come to the conclusion that I should have come to a long time ago. I'm done. I shouldn't, frankly, have ever made a YouTube account to begin with. Honestly, it goes deeper than that. As early as 11 years old, I've been heavily involved in online forums and chat rooms, mostly just video game related at that point, and since I was so bad at making friends in real life, most of my interactions with people in general were online. For half of my life, I've been living in a world that isn't real, where I felt I was completely free of consequence to the things I said or did, where I never took anything seriously, and where I thought I could just be whoever I wanted to portray myself as without thinking of how that would affect me in the long run. It reached a point where I go online, and whether it's on YouTube or Twitter or any other site, I'm anxious about what I might see. When I stream, my eyes are almost entirely rooted to the chat, my anxiety building every minute because I don't know who might be there this time to fuck with me. I let this character become who I am to such a degree that it's almost instinct at this point to launch into a heated debate, or to get loud or angry or make some shitty, unfunny joke. YouTube and my interactions beyond are living rent-free in my head to the point where I feel anxiety about it when I go to sleep and feel it even more when I wake up. Every day I have to prepare myself from the instant I'm conscious for what I might have to deal with online. Coupling that with my home life, my job, and my issues with depression, anxiety, and having Asperger's, all of which have plagued my entire life, and I'm just emotionally and mentally unstable all day, all the time. I keep getting suggestions on how I can get help, taking medications or going to therapy, doing things I like, hanging out with friends, but I've been trying all of that and more for so long and never getting anywhere. I've been on more medications than I can count, and if they didn't make the depression worse, because of course, a medication designed to combat depression has the fucking side effect of fucking depression, then they didn't do anything at all. I've been going to therapy since I was 9 years old. Altogether, I've seen 4 different therapists, all of which have told me the same things, suggested the same non-solutions, and all of which pocket a paycheck for telling me something less insightful than I could find for free on Google. I try to do things I like, be it reading, writing, drawing, running, watching movies, playing video games, and I feel so unmotivated to do it that instead I find myself sleeping the majority of the day, rather than doing any of those things. Even if nothing particularly bad has happened that day, even if all that's happened are good things, my head will always find some way to fuck it up, and I'll just turn everything off, go to bed, and set an alarm to wake me up to go back to my shitty, mundane job, and I'll repeat the same process every single day. Talking to friends has a history of not working. I've never had many friends in the first place, and the few I thought I could trust enough to be open and honest with them about how I felt eventually didn't want to deal with me anymore and stopped being my friends. Now I just naturally never say anything to anyone because I don't want to lose the few friends I do have. I can't talk to my family either because they're willfully ignorant of the issues I have. When I had my breakdown in August, my parents just said that I wouldn't have depression if I believed in God, even though I was diagnosed with clinical depression years before I ever became an atheist in the first place. But that's not something they're willing to admit to themselves. I don't talk to anyone about how I feel because I have a long history of it blowing up in my face. Everyone just wants to see me happy and smiling and saying life is great. They don't want to know about my issues, nor do they care to hear about them. So it's just so much easier to slap on a fake smile and pretend to be enthusiastic about things. It's so much easier to give people what they want than to be honest about how what they want isn't really grounded in reality. I think that's mostly why I even made this channel in the first place. I didn't really want to come back, but I think I owed it to everyone to do so after leaving on bad terms last time and wanted people to think everything was okay rather than worrying about me. I have no passion or drive to do this anymore. I don't like sitting down to type up a script, redraft it, and spend dozens if not hundreds of hours making a video that people are probably going to hate anyway. I have no desire to do streams when it only makes my anxiety worse. I've been doing this out of obligation, not out of fun. I haven't really ever had happiness in my life. All the time there's something that comes along to rip it all away. Anytime I think I'm approaching success, something crops up to make me wish I'd never bothered. Even when I had some success on my last channel, I looked at every single thing I made with scorn. I hate all those videos. I hate every video I've ever made. I think about them and I feel humiliated to have ever made them. I think of people I'm close to ever seeing those videos and it makes me feel physically ill. Even if I ultimately agree with the sentiment, which in the case of most of my videos I made, I do still believe most if not all of what I said in them, but they are badly edited, badly written, and badly communicated piles of shit that never did anything but make me feel worse about myself. Even when I'm writing, I'll get maybe a few paragraphs in and my brain will just scream at me about how terrible it is, about how nobody would ever want to read this garbage, and how even if some publisher pitied me enough to publish it, it would be picked apart and I'd just be known as another shitty, worthless, good-for-nothing writer who can't make anything and isn't worth anyone's time. Then I'll get nothing done, and it's back to the same exact cycle that repeats itself again and again and again. The only time I've ever felt even remotely happy was over the last 3 years when I uninstalled all the unnecessary apps from my phone and secluded myself in Colorado for a week. The only time I ever approach some kind of peace is when I'm alone in the mountains with no one to remind me of how much I hate myself. I don't think it's a coincidence that I only ever feel that way when I remove the internet from my life. Saying goodbye to something I've been a part of for next to half of my life isn't easy. I've tried justifying to myself all the reasons I should stay, be they for a boost in confidence, purely for monetary reasons, or maybe to get me out of my shitty job, or just because, despite it all, I still enjoy editing videos. But the truth is, I don't enjoy this. I haven't enjoyed this in a long time. Even the prospect of people literally throwing money at me for sorting out technical issues in a video game and not even providing quality fucking content isn't attractive to me anymore. If anything, it just makes me feel like a fucking thief. Coming back after my breakdown hasn't resulted in anything positive. I found myself relapsing back into my old negative habits. I'm not exercising, I'm not getting anything productive done, I'm getting into way too many nasty arguments, and I'm spending too much time feverishly checking my posts to see if they're well liked. I've let the internet consume who I am and turn me into something I'm not, and I hate it. I hate the way I feel all the time, and I hate pretending every day that there's nothing wrong when I can't even remember the last time I've ever felt like there's a single thing right. I hate feeling like such a loser every day, looking at myself in the mirror and hating what I see. I hate going online and seeing thousands of people who hate me and view me as a terrible person. And I hate doing this every day, never getting anywhere and never moving forward, always waiting for something to change without doing anything to make that change happen. I want to be nobody again. I want to be forgotten, to return to being nothing special or worth listening to, because being nobody is better than being what I am now. I know I'll get a lot of eye rolls for this and plenty of comments memeing about how many months it'll take before I change my mind and come back. For that matter, I've already seen that sentiment from like a dozen or so people after my initial Twitter thread about this. I expect it, so it's not really a big deal. I know I can't really convince anyone of my sincerity, and nobody will ever really know if I was honest about it because I'll be forgotten before anyone even remembers to check and see if I came back or not. But whether you believe it or think I'm full of shit, this is the end. I'm too exhausted to keep it up any longer. I don't want to keep being the lowlife who can't land a better job. I don't want to keep being an abrasive douchebag whose only redeemable qualities are the insults I can make up on the fly when covering some shitty video. I don't want to keep being hated by everybody. If I don't cut it all off now and leave, then one of these days I probably will end up with a bullet in my head. It's not that I want to kill myself, but I just really want to stop feeling like this, and I've felt this way for so long that I can barely even remember what it's like to feel differently, and I have so little hope that things will ever change that most of the time it feels like the only way to make myself feel better is to make myself never feel anything again. I hate that feeling. I hate waking up every day and wishing I hadn't. I can't keep doing this. I can't keep standing still and wondering when something's going to change. I can't keep coming back to YouTube expecting that this time I can make it work and then finding myself proven wrong within weeks or months of coming back. It's just this long, recurring cycle I've been going through since I was 14, and it's finally time to wake the fuck up and do something about it. So whether you believe me or not, this is the end. Permanently, forever. After the next DFAP, you'll never hear from me again. I won't repost the videos and streams from this channel, and I don't want them re-uploaded. As I said before, the previous videos I made are an embarrassment and stand as permanent humiliation for me, so to those of you who've uploaded my videos from my last channel, I want those to go away too. I just want this to be over. Before I go, I do want to thank all of you, whether you remember my old channels or not. Thanks for the encouragement. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the laughs and the memes and the fan art. Thanks for the good times and the fun we've had over the years. Thanks for making me feel like I was somebody, at least for a little while. It's been a long, strenuous 8 years, and it's time to set it all behind me. I'd say I'll see you again next time like I used to, but I guess that's not really true anymore. I hope that all of you live long, happy, successful, fulfilling lives, and I hope that you never have to feel what I feel every day. For better or worse, it's been a crazy ride. I guess that's pretty much it then. So, goodbye.